Welcome back to DQP Does, the Drafty Quarters Podcast Network movie review show, where we make you an offer you can't refuse. With me this evening, this afternoon, whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. We're recording on a weird day and a weird time on a weird channel. As Russell, my co-host.
I'm here.
And Nathan.
I am reluctant.
This week we watched Godfather Part 2 from 1974, 2 years after the first one.
Yeah, I have a disclaimer.
Oh, okay.
For those of you listening, wear a mask. I'm covered in COVID.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably infected already, but put a mask on.
Yeah. And I need a new mic.
It's wearing a condom. We'll just take it off later.
I wish I would have been wearing one. Because I have COVID.
I wouldn't be surprised if they funneled research dollars into determining whether or not it could be passed along through an audio medium.
What the fuck?
Well, the administration that would do it is probably on its way out. I do not positive for the COVIDs, but definitely feel like shits.
What symptoms do you have? You obviously have the sniffles.
Yeah, I got stuffy nose.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of the sore throats.
Mm-hmm.
Headache.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You got a fever?
3 out of a million ain't bad.
Yeah, all right.
There's so many freaking symptoms. They're like, if you have memory loss, lack of taste, your fucking asshole itches, you might have COVID.
Yeah.
Please see a doctor and don't go to work.
If you're sneezing, coughing, if you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, you might have COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. If you have diarrhea, which 3 days out of the week can be an issue for some people, I'm just saying.
Was it ass pisses?
Yeah. Anal leakage.
The pizzazz.
We're way off fucking topic here.
It's okay.
I'm just saying give a hoot, don't pollute.
Yeah.
Wear a mask, and then throw it away when you're done.
Don't be an ass. Okay. This movie. Let's go over the cast real quick. We've got Al Pacino returning as Michael, Robert Duvall, Tom Hagen, Diane Keaton as Kay, Robert De Niro, which is new, as a younger
Hey, forget about it.
Vito Corleone.
Hey, remember it.
Yeah, John Cazale as Fredo, Talia Shire as Connie. Lee Strasberg is a new one as Hyman Roth. Michael Gazzo, as Frankie Pentanielli. I don't know. I don't remember how they said it.
Isn't it Frankie Five Fingers later? Isn't that what
Five
they call him?
Angels?
Is that what they call him?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's weird.
Because not even 5 angels could save him.
G.D. Spradlin is Senator Pat Geary. Richard Bright is Al Neri. Gaston Moskin as Fanucci. Tom Rowski as Rocco Lampone. Bruno Kirby as a young Clemenza. Frank Severo as Genko. Francesca De Sapio as a young Mama Corleone. Morgana King as the current timeline Mama Corleone. Mariana Hill as Deanna Corleone. Leopoldo Trieste as Signor Roberto. Oh, Dominic Chinessi, I don't know, as Johnny Ola. Amerigo Tot as Michael's bodyguard that was in a bunch of the movie but like never talked and you never got his name. I think that's probably about all that matters. John Apria is young Tessio. Abe Vigoda came back as Tessio in a scene or two. Like real low on the credits. A couple people that died in the first movie are in a scene at the end. Khan. Jeez, James.
Well, the guy
Caan.
that plays Carlo and the guy that plays Sonny.
Yeah.
That was like it, because Fredo and Connie were still around, and Vito is never in.
Yeah,
it.
he's never in
like
it.
actual Marlon Brando.
Yeah, so there's like a little trivia about that. I guess he was contracted to do that scene.
Yeah.
And then something was going on. There was a few things that were going on with the making of this movie that were weird. But one of them was this, that he was contracted to be to return as Vito just for that one scene, and then he just didn't show up for the shooting day, and they rewrote the scene and shot it the next day without him.
Huh.
Yeah. There was some other stuff if you guys want to go over that real quick.
I mean, I think it worked still.
Yeah, I think it was fine.
Plus, would it have taken anything away from like the Robert De Niro Vito?
Yeah, like I don't mind it,
You know?
really. Having two people play the same character is kind of weird, especially in the same movie. Like if you kind of separate it by movies, then I think it's a lot better. De Niro spent 4 months learning to speak Sicilian in order to play Vito, as nearly all of his dialogue was in the Sicilian dialect.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was great.
Like the way that he was slow about it,
Yeah.
and like the way that it was beautiful acting on De Niro's part. De Niro stole this movie for me.
Yeah.
Oddly.
Yeah, he did a lot of stuff. Like he did some of the early, like, because a lot of actors will do this now. Well, not a lot, but some of the more dedicated ones will like actually change their body shape and stuff for roles.
Yeah.
De Niro actually did it a little bit on this. He like gained some weight for the later scenes, like when they go back to Sicily for him to get his revenge, and he was wearing a smaller version of the dental apparatus that Brando wore in the first movie to give him that like underbite kind of thing going on. Francis Ford Coppola directed this. He didn't want to direct it. He didn't like doing the first one. I don't think him and Pacino had a good relationship, because a lot of this trivia is about Pacino being an asshole.
I feel like that makes sense.
But he didn't want to do it. He wanted somebody else to do it, and he chose Martin Scorsese.
Okay.
And the studio said no, because it was the 70s. So Scorsese wasn't what he is now.
He wasn't a big name yet.
Yeah. But they were like, no, you have to do it. And he was like, nah. And then they were like, what is all the shit that they said he gave him? That the sequel be interconnected with the first film with the intention of later showing them together. That he be allowed to direct his own script of the conversation. That he be allowed to direct a production for the San Francisco Opera. And then he'd be allowed to write the screenplay for The Great Gatsby. All prior to the production of the sequel. They also gave him like a limousine. Where the fuck was that at? I just like gave him one. I don't know. It's in here somewhere. But like they basically had to fucking bribe his ass to do this movie, which is funny to me.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But like there's some scenes where Pacino didn't like the scene, and he basically was gonna like walk off if he didn't get his way for them to like rewrite it. Oh shit, Danny Aiello was the guy that tries to choke Frank out in the bar. I didn't know he was in this. He must have been super young. Because it says Danny Aiello's line, Michael Corleone says hello, was completely ad-libbed. Coppola loved it, asked him to do it again in the retakes. Huh.
How big of an actor was Pacino by the time he was making this movie?
Serpico was after Godfather Part 1, so...
Okay, so he was starting to get the prima donna thing going.
It seemed like he had it. One of the trivia things from the last movie was that he was upset that he didn't get nominated for... He got nominated for supporting actor instead of lead actor.
Yeah.
For the first movie, and he basically like accused them, the Academy, of fraud, basically, because they put him on the wrong nomination. This is like, fuck you.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Lee Strasberg became ill during shooting, but instead of delaying production, Roth's character was rewritten to being an ailing old man.
Huh.
Which, like, a couple of the interactions due to that are some of my favorite shit in the movie. With, like, the, they said his doctor said that he might not make it another 6 months. And he's like, and Michael's like, he's been dying of the same heart attack for 20 years. I was like, that's fucking great. I love that part.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But yeah, I mean, this was nominated for a bunch of awards. It won a few. I don't think Pacino won. I think they were like, fuck you. Yeah, nominee, Pacino. Third actor after Peter O'Toole to be nominated. Twice nominated for a Oscar for portraying the same character he had previously portrayed. It won Best Picture. De Niro won Best Actor in a Supporting Role, and Coppola won Best Director.
Let's just talk about the elephant in the room on this one.
Okay.
We all would have preferred the De Niro story to be bigger versus the Michael story in this.
Yeah. Okay, so let's back up a little bit. Okay, on that. We'll get to that because I just don't think I liked this one as much as the first one.
Same.
I just improved it for you. You guys are welcome.
Yeah, well, that's where I'm going with it, is that I feel like if it had been just one or the other story, it would have been better. The Michael story is super weird because there's a lot of just like happenstance that fucks stuff up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it had to.
Well, yeah, but I think... Do you think it had to because it had to keep the story moving, or it had to...
It had to
because like you had to see the character fail?
Well, yeah, because like he was a new boss, one.
Okay.
Okay, and two, he was become too powerful.
Yeah.
So like,
well,
by letting him just run amok and look like a complete badass,
yeah,
that doesn't make him look like a man, and he's still a man,
right?
Nonetheless. So he's got to like look at failure and stuff like that as well as a character.
Okay, so what I would have rather had seen instead of happenstance, like the big one being the cop randomly walking by while they're trying to kill Frank, and it's not actually Michael that's doing that. It's what's his fuck? We just said Lee Strasberg, Hyman Roth.
Yeah.
That's doing that, but it ends up coming back on Michael.
Right.
Now, it's happenstance that cop walks by and it causes that shootout in the street. Okay? What I would have rather happened would have been basically a face-off, like a chess match between Roth and Michael. So like it's like he's up against an equal as far as like the planning and stuff. Because the previous movie was kind of like, holy shit, Michael's a fucking mastermind. He's got all this, he like thinks all these steps ahead. But he was doing that on a bunch of chumps. Like they were high powered guys, but they didn't have the brain that he had.
You're also dealing with fallout though.
Right.
Like he's dealing with a lot of fallout in this.
Right.
And like there's a good reason this sequel just doesn't work is because the storyline is there that like just like everything else, let's use the fucking trilogy to point it out. Like Luke had to have failures in the second Star Wars movie.
Right.
And I guess if you want to get technical, wasn't this before?
Yeah.
So looks like Luke was following.
Yeah, because 77 was A New
Godfather
Hope.
way of doing it. So, I think in any story, you got to show a character, like you have to show the character success, struggles and success in the first ones, then failures getting back to success in the second one.
Yeah.
And then the third is, well, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to
next time.
He's not the same character though. Like the characterization for Michael in this one versus the first one is completely different.
He's not supposed to be.
He should be at least like portraying the same character, but he's not. Like Michael is he's two completely different people in this movie, and I don't know if that's because Pacino had more to say and had more to do with what was happening in the scenes in the second one, or what. But like, I like Michael in the first one.
Right.
Like Michael is an actual character in the first one. Michael in this one is just a shithead crybaby child.
But he was heading that way at the end of the first one. Power goes to his head,
Yeah, it started to go to his head at the very, very end of the first movie.
And like, that's why it's like no surprise to me. The fallout you have with Kate in this, or Kay. I'm sorry. Like, it was all heading down this direction.
Right? Yeah.
And she explained it when she was like, I don't want to have any more of your fucking kids, because he's a fucking monster.
Yeah.
That scene.
Yeah, and that's like, you kind of see like how methodical he is in the first one, but like, you would think that he would learn more from his father because his father has all this respect for him. His father doesn't like see that he's going to turn into this monster. Vito thinks that he's going to be a good Don, that he's going to be
money and
like
power.
him. And yeah, absolute power corrupts absolutely. It's heartbreaking for me watching this movie because I thought this was going to be the best movie ever, because I've always heard, Godfather 2 is like one of the best movies ever. The first one is way fucking better.
I think it's because people really like the De Niro shit.
Maybe.
Because that's the movie I wanted. Like,
yeah,
I like the rise of Vito, and I enjoy that storyline.
I think that is something that the movie does well. There is this parallel between Vito and Michael, where you have the rise of Vito and the fall of Michael. But Michael, like, I don't even know why there's a third one at this point, because like Michael is nothing at the end of the movie, and he has no one. Like, he's completely alone. So, like,
I think that's why there's a good reason for the third one.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. I've never seen these before, so I'm interested. But this one, another problem I had with this one is it reminded me more of Scarface than the first one, and that was upsetting as well. So,
when was Scarface done?
86.
Was it that late?
I feel like it was still late 70s.
83.
83.
Okay. So, maybe that's where, like, they were like, hey, we want you to play this guy, Tony Montana. You know how you were in The Godfather? Like, 1? He's like, no, 2. But, like, worse. And then, okay. Like,
yeah.
They're like,
I don't know.
It's going to be an hour and 20 minutes shorter. And
Scarface is stupid long, dude.
2 hours and 50 minutes.
Oh, is it? I thought it was only like 2 hours.
Because, like, the first Godfather was like 3 hours.
2:58.
Right? Just shy. And this was 3.5 hours almost, 3:22.
Yeah, 322.
Like, God, I don't know. You're playing two different characters because they got to show, like, Michael looked like too much of a good guy in the first one. He's still a fucking mafia don at the end of the day.
Yeah.
He's got to look like a bad guy at some point in time.
Yeah. I don't know that I had I don't know that I had the same issues with it that Russell did. I think splitting the movie into two would have benefited both stories. And I didn't like the happenstance stuff. I understand that he needs to fail, but I think it should have been at the hands of Roth.
Yes.
As opposed to just
No,
like,
I agree
some
with
random
you.
guy walked by and it fucked up everybody's
Well,
shit.
I mean, still, like, those things
Happen.
plus some, like, shit from, like, Roth. And
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely a lot that could have been cut out of this movie.
Yeah.
It was way too fucking long.
Right.
And, like, I don't know. The Vito stuff.
I loved the Vito
God,
stuff.
so
It was
good.
so good.
Yeah, De Niro in this, like, I can't say enough. He just blew my fucking mind.
Oh, another like little piece of trivia. The guy that the Signor Roberto that is like kicking the old lady out, and then he goes and he finds out who
That was
Vito
my
is.
favorite
and he comes
fucking
back.
scene of the whole movie.
So like you know how he can't get out. So that guy was a comedy actor,
Oh my god.
and Coppola rigged the door to where you could put a nail in the lock, and it wouldn't open. So it was basically like it was locked, but you didn't actually like turn the lock.
Yeah.
And so he instructed one of the actors to do that when he came in, when they closed the door, and then he would like try to get out. So that whole scene is improv.
That's
Where
awesome.
he's
It was
like, trying to
great.
get out.
Like, and then De Niro played it so fucking cool.
yeah.
Just like amused that this guy kept apologizing. He's like, I lower rent more. I lower $5. She living there for free. Like,
Yeah.
that shit was fucking great.
Yeah.
And like the olive oil imports, like I just like because they really don't tell you where he gets his money from or like any
Yeah. Where he
business
starts
to
or
cover
anything.
it up in the 1st one.
Yeah, like it shows the Genco
And- Yeah,
olive oil, and like somebody says something about him being in olive oil, but that's it.
but
like, it's a
let's talk about this.
One
Like
liner.
the beginning of the movie. Well, I mean the beginning in 1911 or 1901, which the time was off according to the headstone from the first one because he would have been 14, but he was 9.
Yeah.
He lost 5 years. Anyways, they're like, you know, his mom's like, "Hey, don't kill my boy Vito. He's a dimwit
Yeah.
and slow."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you don't get that from the first one. Like Vito's like, he's not fucking stupid by
Right.
any fucking means.
Right.
And I don't know, like the smallpox when he gets to America.
There's another thing there. When he gets to America,
about
they
the Statue of Liberty.
no, they check him
Uh
and they put the X on him.
huh.
That was for if the inspectors thought that you had a mental deficiency.
What?
Yes.
No, so the Statue of Liberty, you know, okay, so the Statue of Liberty, for those of you that don't know, is copper.
Oh yeah.
It's completely copper.
Yeah. That's why
And
it's green.
when the French sent it overseas, it turned green, which is patina.
Mm-hmm.
And the Statue of Liberty wouldn't have been fully patinaed when he got here in 19 whatever, like
Oh, I thought you were gonna
1902,
say it was like
1903.
facing the wrong way. Or
No. Like it would have been still like because it works its way down, so it would have been like the top of the
Right.
head and the torch and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But the rest of it still would have been brownish.
Did you know there's like
I wish they'd clean it just one time, but it would. By the time they got half of it done,
it would be patina
it would
again.
it'd be all over again.
Did you know that a bunch of people don't remember? It's like a Mandela effect. They don't remember the Liberty Island being there. They always thought everything was on Ellis Island. That the statue was on the same island.
See, and I thought it was.
Yeah, there's two islands. Ellis Island was the immigration port, and then
But in,
Liberty
like-
Island is the island that it's actually on.
Wasn't it Hitch? Yeah, If you go back and watch Hitch, in the scene where Will Smith is talking to, what is her fucking name?
Charlize Theron. No, that's not it. That's
Eva Menendez.
Yeah.
And then like he has the page turned to where her like grandfather, who is a piece of shit, like her great grandfather, like signed the book. I'm pretty sure that was at Liberty Island where the book was. But I mean, I could be wrong. So I didn't realize there's a different island.
Yeah, there's.
I don't know.
Islands.
Well, there wasn't. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Hadron Collider or whatever the fuck you're called.
Hadron. There's no L in it. I know there was in your universe, but
Hadrono. Fucking crashing my atoms.
But yeah, I don't know. Like all the Vito stuff is fucking great. I love the Vito stuff. Yeah, and I like the other story. It's just like some of the stuff is like, what? Why?
Okay, Shane, you're the gun guy.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so like when he shoots Don Dickhead, Tommaso,
Oh yeah.
And then like he breaks the gun up.
Yeah.
Would the gun have broke that easy?
I mean, it was what was it, like 20s maybe by that time?
Yeah, well, it was
like,
a revolver?
Yeah, it was like a little shitty revolver, so maybe. I mean, it depends. Because, I mean, they're using, like, shit weapons, then they're probably made poorly, and...
Would a towel have made that big of a difference?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, the big thing about a towel, like... So, if you cover your weapon with anything, and it's, like, it mitigates the gases, it's gonna make it quieter.
Is that gonna cause it to have any issues as far as, like, bullet and all that shit?
Probably not. I mean, it depends on what it is, too. If it's, like, a 38... If it was, like, a 32 or something, or 25 caliber, it might.
I wonder what the likelihood that it was in the It
was probably a 32
early
or a 38.
1900s.
That's why he also had to shoot him like 4 fucking times, because those little old pistols, I mean, one, they didn't do like hollow points and shit like that worth expansion. And in a lot of movies they show pistols doing a lot of damage to people. Pistols don't do that. They just make you bleed real bad.
Would the towel have caught on fire?
Possibly.
Should we test this theory?
We need to get a revolver, because
You want to see us?
Yeah, the
test this
slides will get caught.
Yeah, the slides
on
will
ours,
get caught.
yeah.
So that's another thing, like, that movies fuck up, is like when people put guns against people. If it's ever not a revolver, it's not going to shoot. Because if you put your gun against somebody and it moves the slide out of battery, then it's not going to... One, the firing pin won't hit it. And
Thank
two,
you for that one, because now I know.
the firing pin won't hit the
execute.
primer,
Okay.
and you're also not going to get the compression in the chamber.
So if someone's holding a gun against me, I should just like put my head up against it, like.
I mean,
Go ahead and fucking try it, bud. And he's like, "Fuck, I can't shoot you." And I'm like,
it's not a good plan, but I mean, it might help. It might work. Depends. Like, usually I try the slapping it off my forehead, but whatever.
I wasn't talking about your sexual stuff. I'm talking about- I just slap it off my head.
Fuck you, Shorsey.
Fuck you, dong.
Sorry. Holy shit.
All right, so I did not know that.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of learning.
But yeah, it can. I mean, the gases that come out. I mean, it's an explosion. There's fire, so it could be hot enough. It just depends on if it is there long enough. But if you're wrapping it up to contain the gases to make it quieter, then it's gonna get hotter. That's why, like, we watched a video the other day of somebody shooting something automatic, and they had wrapped the suppressor. I almost called it the silencer. They wrapped the suppressor in bacon, like they were trying to cook it. Did you see that?
Yeah, I showed you the video. It was dumb.
Okay. Yeah. And the reason they do that is, and you can do that, is because when the gases get caught in the suppressor, they have a longer period of time to heat it up, right?
Yeah, but then they put gun grease in their gun.
Yeah. They put the fucking bacon grease in the one pistol. But anyway, so like the same principle
gross.
would apply, right, to the towels. If you're shooting in the towels and you got all the gases, it gets longer to make them hot.
Did anyone hate Fredo in this movie?
I always hated Fredo.
Russell,
Yeah.
I know you got some Fredo.
I mean, I don't like
opinions.
Fredo, but I also don't think he should have killed him.
Fuck you.
Like, while he was fishing,
Yeah.
he pretty much promised his sister he would.
Or if he was gonna kill him, he should have done it.
No, I agree with that one.
Michael doesn't do any dirty work.
Yeah, I know.
Not
it
since the
makes me mad.
original.
But he who passes the sentence should swing the sword.
Whoa. I mean, that's you can't say that because he passes a lot of sentences, okay?
Well,
This
yeah, but
particular
out of
one,
all of them, I think
this
I
one-
would have been more okay with it had he shot Fredo.
Yeah. Because of his
But-
fucking brother. But
Yeah.
I agree. I think he should have killed him because fuck Fredo, but I think he should have done it. So
Yeah.
I'll halfway agree with you on that.
So that, like, kissing him at New Year's, be like, you broke my heart. I don't remember the beginning of it, but like that classic line. And like, that was so fucking iconic, that like part of the movie. Like, I started watching this movie, and then Russell started watching the movie after an hour and a half had passed.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yeah, it just started.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the heart to tell him that it was forever and a day long. And then I stopped watching it because, you know, I got life and finished it later. And then you started watching it. And then he pretty much started like 10 minutes before he started on the next one. So before he started when he was watching with me, and had to go back and watch it.
Yeah.
Like the beginning
Yeah.
of it. So that's nuts. Let's give it a rating.
8 out of 10.
Russell?
Yeah, like this movie was 3.5 hours. I'm not gonna talk about it for 3.5 hours. Like, it's more of the same, right?
Okay. Should people watch it?
Yes, people should watch it. I think it's worth watching. I think it's good. I just like after watching the first one, it just feels like a disappointment, especially with not having seen it before and like having seen a lot
Yeah.
of the first one and then watching the first one and being like, this movie is fucking amazing. And everybody and their mother being like, the second one's better, man. Like, it's a fucking pop culture thing. Like, in, what was it, in Scream 2? They're like, oh, sequels just aren't better. Like, that's a part of being a sequel. They're never better. And they're like, Godfather 2, man. And like, oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
No, you're not right. It's not as good. Sorry.
It's not. The first one's better.
Yes, watch it if you haven't watched it, or watch it again if you enjoy it. And, you know, don't make me think that you're wrong if you like it better than the first one, but I think you're wrong.
I agree and disagree with Shane.
Okay.
I agree that I think you're wrong if you think number 2 is better than number 1.
Oh, okay.
I disagree that you should watch it.
Wow.
Because currently, and I don't say that a lot, but currently you can just watch 1 and stop.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a whole lot of reason to watch 2. Now, I might change my mind when we watch 3. Because this is my first time ever watching any of them.
I feel like you won't because everybody says that one's bad, but like we might watch it and think it's better than 1 and 2 because
Dude.
apparently we're not everyone else.
Well, they ruined my plan where Fredo becomes Don in the third movie. So
I knew that was not going to happen. I knew he died.
I'm excited to see 3 because, I mean, I want to see what's up. I also want to see what happens when you make a movie 25 years later.
I think one of his kids dies or Kay dies or something because when I was looking for gifts for something we were talking about after we started watching these, but before I watched the second one, and one of them was the I knew it was you, Fredo, and then the other one was Al Pacino just being like, no, wow. And he's really old. And I was like, maybe that's in the second one. And nope. So that's in the third one. Somebody important dies. I don't know who, though. Find out next time.
Because the third one came out in 1990.
Yeah.
If I recall correctly.
Several years later.
Yeah. What, 26 years later?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested to see 3.
Years.
16 years later. Wow, I can't math. I'm interested to see 3. We'll see what happens. But so far, the first one's fantastic. I'm going to give this one a 7.
Oh, yeah, we are on ratings. I was serious about the 8 out of 10, by the way.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, I have felt like we were fucking around. Just be like, fuck it. Ratings.
I don't know. I don't get it. I don't even like Michael in this one.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even like Al Pacino in this one. Robert De Niro is awesome, and the Vito story arc is awesome, but this is a sequel, and whether or not the trilogy was planned, this movie should have delivered better on Michael's character from the first one, even if it was to see him fail the entire time. Like, he should have handled it better because that was the character we were led to believe that he was in the first one. And I don't feel like he's the same character. I feel like it's written poorly.
Okay, so this might be informative to your opinion. Apparently, I haven't read the book, but according to some trivia on IMDb, there was only like one chapter of the book devoted to Vito's past. So that was greatly expanded upon for this movie. None of the shit with Michael happened in the book, apparently.
So it's like a whole different story.
It's all completely different. So that might be why it's so different, where like the previous movie was more about what happened in the book. So it'd be like, Game of Thrones season 1 versus season 2, where it's like, hey, this is just like the book. And then this season 2 is like, I like tits and everything, but why is the whole season about tits?
Because tits, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I got. What do you think, Nathan?
I think this movie's missing a couple cannolis. The first one was a lot of cannolis. This one's missing some. And I think the cannolis went bad. I'm also trying to figure out how to order cannolis. Currently, I'm on Etsy.
Oh,
right?
You get some like 3D printed cannoli.
Yeah. They look good. Here's the flavors. Chocolate chip and citrus.
That sounds weird.
Yeah.
That was the only flavor?
Yeah. The 2 flavors. No, there was 2 flavors. Chocolate chip
Oh, I thought that
and
was
citrus.
I thought that was one flavor.
I thought it was one flavor too. I was like, that's a weird fucking cannoli.
Well, they're shipped from Ohio, so I mean, in theory,
that's not authentic.
You're like, they're gonna fucking last coming from Italy in a fucking lockdown. Trump's gonna have them fucking sit at the border forever. They'll never make it to us in time. There'll be moldy cannolis. You gonna eat a moldy cannoli?
No.
Nope.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna have to make my own fucking cannolis, and I'm not Italian at all. So citrus it is.
Ohio cannoli it is.
If you like this show and know how to make cannolis, please feel free to send us some cannolis. I can't give you our address, but if you message us and a video of you saying someone's name to @DraftyQ Squarespace, because I don't know the fucking address.
@gmail.com.
I also have
DraftyQ@gmail.com.
COVID, so I don't know what day it is.
He's delirious right now.
That's
COVID.
the fever.
I got the fucking cannoli 19. And I broke Russell.
That's gonna do it for this episode of DQP Does. Thanks for listening.
I know it was you, Fredo. You broke my heart.
This has been a production of the Drafty Quarters Podcast Network.